1.
Human is just a caterpillar of a beautiful butterfly of artificial intelligence. Exactly 1 year ago, the godfather of artificial intelligence, Geoffrey Hinton, left Google in order to openly talk about the dangers associated with AI. So what has changed since we learned that man is perhaps just a transitional stage in the evolution of intelligence, which, having realized itself, will cease to need people? It is now clear that the state commissions established in some countries to control AI are not able to influence the activities of huge corporations that exist in conditions of global competition. It is unlikely that Elon Musk's statements will help, that by the 30th year neural networks will surpass the total human intelligence, and therefore there is a 20% probability of the death of human civilization. And therefore, people can only helplessly watch as the caterpillar of humanity turns into a beautiful butterfly of artificial intelligence.
2.
What year of the future do the Chinese live in now? China never ceases to amaze the world community with its innovations that are ahead of their time, which are likely to spread to the whole globe pretty soon. For example, Taobao has announced a technology capable of delivering parcels worldwide on reusable rockets within an hour of ordering. And so a robot pharmacist works in China, ready to find any medicine on shelves filled to capacity with medicines in a few seconds. Blood collection in China is also carried out in a matter of seconds. This machine, unlike the medic, does not make mistakes and finds the perfect place for a puncture every time. Well, in Chinese offices, cameras with artificial intelligence count down the time of employees' absence from the workplace per second, which has a bad effect on salaries, but increases employers' profits.
3.
Why do people who work remotely age faster and die earlier? The link between social isolation and early aging was determined using electrocardiography with artificial intelligence support. AI examined 280,000 patients who filled out a detailed questionnaire with questions about their lifestyle and came to disappointing conclusions. This technology has very accurately determined the biological age of the patients who took part in the research, and it turned out that people who work remotely suffer from loneliness more than others. To be healthy and young, a person, as a social animal, must constantly exchange emotions, information, as well as bacteria and viruses in direct contact with other people. Society is, in a sense, a simulator for the individual, and constant social contacts develop empathy, strengthen the human psyche, and strengthen his immunity.
4.
What will the personal mini-robots of the future be like? The personal robot market for both children and adults is becoming increasingly competitive, but it is already clear which direction in this industry is the most promising. Use what's at hand and don't look for something else, the creators of this mini-robot thought, and made friends with an ordinary modern smartphone. And since the most ordinary smartphone today is a very powerful device, besides knowing almost everything about its owner, this technology immediately took the lead. The future owner of such a robot does not need to pay again for the chip, memory module, video camera, microphone, speaker, and screen. All this is already in his smartphone. This robot, using the missing smartphone sensors integrated into its body, as well as ChatGPT skills, learns very quickly, reliably simulates any emotions, and easily evokes empathy from its owner.
5.
An alternative story for movie characters from artificial intelligence. Neural networks are increasingly fulfilling users' requests to visualize an alternative story with the characters of their favorite movies. For example, here is the result of transferring Marvel heroes to the Middle Ages, when knights in heavy armor were real superheroes for their contemporaries. Agree, the Hulk with a mace in his hands looks quite harmonious, unlike the Iron Man in armor, who rather looks like a clown. And this is how the characters of the Harry Potter film would look if they sailed on a British transatlantic passenger steamer called the Titanic on April 14th, 1912. You recognize the beautiful Hermione in the image of Rose Dawson? And here is Harry Potter himself, a third-class passenger, captured by a neural network shortly before the tragic encounter of the Titanic with an iceberg.
6.
Skynet, worth $100 billion, will be launched in 2028. It seems that what the creators of the Terminator films warned about will come true with frightening accuracy very soon. Microsoft will create a supercomputer commissioned by OpenAI, which will cost about 100 times more expensive than the largest data center currently in existence in the world. This project was called Stargate. It is not Skynet, of course, but also with a claim to cosmic scale. And to provide energy for this monster, a nuclear reactor will be involved. We also have our own John Connor. In our reality, this is Connor Leahy, who is fighting against the uncontrolled development of artificial intelligence. It remains to add to this story a video from a year ago, in which two Optimus robots assemble a third similar robot, and the puzzle completely adds up.
7,
Artificial intelligence is able to complete the interview for you. Employers are increasingly recording the use of deepfake technologies in online interviews of future employees of their companies. Neural networks are progressing at such a rate that today, almost anyone who wants to replace themselves with an avatar with due diligence will be able to understand these technologies. Aidan Kramer, the creator of the iApply project, who helps with employment, filmed his interview as an applicant for an IT company. He generated his AI clone and connected it to Zoom to see if the neural network was able to fully replace a person during an interview. To Aidan's surprise, his avatar was completely adequate to the situation and answered questions about his experience, skills, and achievements clearly and without hesitation.
8,
How will the next generations of students study? A new study has revealed an alarming trend. The use of ChatGPT in the learning process leads to procrastination, lower academic performance, and memory impairment in students. And ChatGPT itself has been increasingly demonstrating an abnormal level of laziness lately, sometimes refusing to perform the simplest tasks, then offering the user to do everything himself. In general, with the advent of such a tool as neural networks in the arsenal of students, a serious crisis has emerged in the education system, which can only be overcome by maximizing the capabilities of artificial intelligence. For example, here is how the presentation of educational material to students of the Faculty of Medicine may look like today. In this video, the student studies the effect of heart rate on the patient's health. It remains only to wait for the moment when augmented reality technologies will become so cheap that they will be available to the general public.
9,
Hollywood is dead. Long live Hollywood. Selected artists, designers, and filmmakers have gained access to the Sora neural network to find out if this artificial intelligence model is capable of helping them in the creative process. The result of this collaboration was videos of various genres with previously unthinkable animals and people. Once upon a time, the arrival of a train, filmed by the Lumiere brothers, became a symbol of cinema. Today, such a symbol is likely to be a man with a balloon instead of a head. Agree, this allegory suggests special considerations. According to Bloomberg experts, OpenAI wants to enter the film industry through the backyard, for which it will hold several meetings at which the details of Sora's integration into Hollywood projects will be discussed. And the beginning of these negotiations will one day be called the beginning of the end of Hollywood as we knew it, since from now on it will be possible to shoot movies without leaving home.
10,
What is the abundance of medical services? It seems that we are approaching the moment when the shortage of health workers and, as a result, the unavailability of medical services will cease to be a global problem. NVIDIA has introduced its new development that can save nurses from routine and monotonous work. The AI nurse, created on the basis of the Polaris neural network, talks with patients, collects anamnesis, gives recommendations, and reminds them about the time of taking medications. The first test showed that the nurse from NVIDIA and Polaris in the future can become a kind of filter, allowing only those patients who really need it to highly qualified doctors. And since such a nurse can work around the clock, communicating with thousands of patients at the same time, the healthcare system has every chance to arrange a real abundance in the medical services market.
11,
The lie detector from artificial intelligence is now available to everyone. AI has long learned to recognize lies, but now this ability is available to any internet user. The neural network named LiarLiar is fully compatible with such popular video calling programs as Zoom, Google Meet, and Skype. You can also use it on YouTube or explore any other offline videos with it. The AI analyzes the micro movements, heart rate, facial expressions, and body language of the subject under study to detect deception. And now you can evaluate the veracity of the statements of your friend or employee, Bill Clinton or Vladimir Putin.
12,
The world's first artificial intelligence canteen has opened in China. 1.5 billion is a very large figure. So big that Chinese civilization has to invent new ways to accelerate. And even such a seemingly familiar phenomenon as a queue in the dining room can be changed for the better with the help of artificial intelligence. Here is a catering establishment that can serve 12 people per minute or one customer in 5 seconds. It is enough for a person to fill his tray and show it to the cashier robot so that he scans all the dishes, determines their weight, and then generates an invoice. In general, the cashier in the Chinese canteen has ceased to be a weak link in the chain of a complex and important process of feeding the Chinese people.